time as a humble servant. The next time he comes, jump back, Jack, he's coming back in power and glory, okay? You're going to look at it, you're going to say, whoa, this is a very different, this is a very different Jesus in terms of why he's coming this time. First time he came to save, this time he comes to judge, okay? So very, very, very different. He's the boss of everything, man. All right, so page 51. Looking at some fun things here and see about Jesus as our brother, true God and true man. Let's see here. Hunter, could you start us off page 51? Just that first little bit at the very top, if you would be so kind.
As a result of the incarnation, the Son of God, the creator of the universe, has become our brother. Work with your group to discuss and answer the questions in your section. Then each group will design a poster that describes the meaning and importance of Jesus, our brother, true man, and or Jesus, our brother, true God.
Right, if we were doing this in school, we had, a day or so to do this, that would be fun, but that's not going to happen here. But the important part is what's at the top there, that Jesus is our brother. As a matter of fact, on Worship Anew today, if you catch it this afternoon, there's this guy on there that preaches about a band of brothers. I'm not going to tell you who he is, but his initials are Paul Shoemaker. And I preached about, by the way, I preached about Band of Brothers today. I got it out of the epistle lesson. But I did that because Worship Anew is now on the Armed Service Network. So all throughout the whole world, no matter where our armed forces are, there's an Armed Forces Network, and Worship Anew is on the Armed Forces Network. So I preached on, and that's a new thing for us. So I used the phrase Band of Brothers. Anybody remember that? HBO especially, they did the Band of Brothers thing, wartime and stuff. And William Shakespeare wrote this wonderful, wonderful poem about people who, the bonding that happens in time of war, called A Band of Brothers. And so I threw that title out there knowing that the military types would go, hey, we know that phrase, and hoping that bring them in, so they start listening to Worship Anew. So, see that? All my motives were, of course, completely pure at that moment. So, moving forward. So, Jesus is our brother. And let's take a look at that. And let's look at question 158. And we have 4 little things to fill in there, A, B, C, and D. So let's grab 158. And let's read that. And Shelby, can you get us started?
What does it mean for us human creatures that the Son of God has become our brother? It means that God has become man, showing our humility as humanity in all things but sin.
Right, and so flip the page and we'll look at letter A. And that'll be our letter A in our workbook. Whoa, what a revelation. All right, so Micah, read letter A, if you would be so kind, sir.
Jesus has a human ancestry.
Right, and we know that. As a matter of fact, in Matthew and in Luke, there are genealogies of Jesus, and they trace that genealogy, and they let you know how he came to be. So they followed him all the way through. Letter B, please, Nora.
Jesus has a human body and soul.
Yes, okay, he's not just a spirit, but he is flesh and blood. We will see Jesus as the disciples saw him. He's got a body, all right? So we're going to see him. It'll be the glorified one, but we're going to see him. We're going to see him. Oh, so that's what he looked like, the glorified version, okay? Of course, you'll have a glorified version of you too. I'm looking forward to that. I could use a little help. So a little glorification of my physical person would be just fine with me. Letter C. Let's look at C. Who did I have read? Shelby just, Monica just read, right? Okay, Nora.
She just read.
You just read what? See, I'm too busy talking, not following my paper enough. Taylor.
Jesus has a human sex, he is a male.
He is a male. Now, years ago, that was no big deal. You had boys, you had girls. Now, I don't know what we got. Well, I know what we got, but I don't know what the rest of the world thinks they have, but they're very confused. Parents, this is just absolutely crazy, is it not? I mean, you sit there and you talk to your kids, and you know, I mean, there's boys, there's girls, that's it. DNA clears it up, you know. XY chromosome, there it is. You know, you're either going to be one or you're going to be the other. That's the way it is. And all this transgendered silliness, how sad. You know, take these opportunities, parents, talk to your kids about this stuff. Because if you don't, guess what? Somebody else will. And guess what? They won't represent the truth like you know it to be. So talk to your kids about these things. These people are sad. Just so sad that they would do it. But Jesus was male. No question about it. Taylor. Letter D.
He is red.
I'm not doing very well, am I? Blake.
Jesus has human needs and feelings.
Right. So again, you know, Jesus, true man. You know, we know he was hungry. We know he was thirsty. We know he got tired. We know when somebody died, he cried. You know, he felt sadness, loss, all those things. You know? Yeah. So Jesus was really real. How about question 159? Let's take a look at that. All right? And I'm going to get in trouble here. Let's see here. Blake just read. All right, so Jenna, I'm just going to jump up a ways. That way I know I skip everybody. Jenna, get me started on question 1, whatever the next question is here. 159.
Why is it so important for us as sinners that the Son of God has become our brother?
Yeah, and read letter A for us, please. As our brother.
Jesus fulfilled our obligation to keep the law, his act of obedience.
Yes. And active obedience is an important thing because Jesus did things in order to bring about our salvation. So, like, he did keep the law perfectly. So, that was a good thing that he did. And for that, we give thanks and praise. All right? And Hayden, but look at B. This is a little different.
Jesus suffered and died to pay the penalty of our sin.
Read the parentheses.
His passive obedience.
His passive. In other words, he allowed things to happen to himself. He didn't stop certain things from happening. Remember what Jesus said? He says, hey, put away your sword. If I need help, what will happen? God will send what? Legions. Legions of angels. Okay? That's a lot. All right? By the way, remember when in the Old Testament, God sent one angel to protect the people of Israel, and in one night he killed 185,000 of the enemy. That was just one. Legions. Does the word overkill come to mind? Sure does, doesn't it, huh? Yes. So he really could do some awesome things for us. So as we look at question 159, we see that we have Jesus' active obedience, we have Jesus' passive obedience, and then let's see here. Jace, if you would read for me, the letter C on page 172.
First overcame death that we too can be raised from the dead.
Right. So again, why is it important for us? You know, that Jesus, that the Son of God has become man? Because once again, because he has been raised, we too shall rise. All right? What a great blessing that is. Well, let's also look at Jesus as true God. You can see we've got a whole bunch of stuff under there as God. And let's see here. I just asked, who did I just ask to read? Jace, all right. You guys have to keep track of this for me. Okay, Tristan, go ahead next. If you would be so kind, read 160.
Why is it so important for us that Jesus was our brother and also the Son of God who created the universe?
Okay, go ahead and read letter A.
He reveals to us that there is no other God other than this God who took on our flesh.
Okay, so again, I would guess we would say that under letter A, he reveals God to us, does he not? If you want to know what God is like, see how Jesus lived and conducted himself. All right? That's what we want to do. Okay. Let me see. Adriana, did I just? That's right. Go ahead, read for me. If you would, let it be.
He has provided a sufficient ransom and atonement for the sins of the world by his death on the cross.
Okay. So we can say he paid our debt in full, didn't he? You know, it's a fancy, he provided a sufficient ransom and atonement for the sins of the world. He paid our debt in full. That's what he did. Okay, and he can only do that as God, the Son. All right, Sarah.
He is always present.
Yes, he is ever present, omnipresent, O-M-N-I, omnipresent. That's a Latin word that means all. And so Jesus is always present. All right? McKenna.
He intercedes for us before the Father.
Right, that's part of his role as our priest, is that he intercedes for us. When we pray to God, he is our intercessor. He takes our prayers to our God. Letter E, please. Autumn.
He rules over creation and the church.
Yes, he's the boss. Okay? Not only of things that happen here on earth, but also he rules over everything for the benefit of the church. What a great blessing that is. And Hunter, letter F.
He has the authority to judge and forgive.
Yes. And he will come in power to judge both the living and the dead, whose kingdom will have no end. And letter G, please, Shelby.
He is worthy of divine honor and glory.
Okay, so again, we would write that as, is that worthy of all divine honor and glory. And then last but not least, we're back down to Micah, if you would.
He loves us with an everlasting love.
Yeah. What a blessing that is, huh? To know that you are loved by your God no matter what. He always, always loves you. He always cares for you. And always wants the very best for you. Which is not always true with the people of the world. So flipping over to page 52, I know we're going fast, but boy, they put a lot in these lessons, so we need to scoot. So we're going to look at questions 162 to 164 here. And so we're jumping over to second article, part 2. So let's look at question 162. Get us started, Nora.
Some people believe that humans are basically good, that we make our own animal, and that if you do good to others, the universe will give you good in return. What do you think about those statements? Are they true?
Okay. And so as we look at that and we say these things and we ask these questions, that you know, if you do good, then you'll get good in return. But you and I know there's another phrase out there that says, no good deed goes unpunished. Yeah. You know, sometimes you do your best, sometimes you're nice, sometimes you're kind, sometimes you're helpful, and right, it all goes down the toilet. And you sit there and you go, that's not fair. Yeah, it's not. It's not fair. But it's the way it is. It is, right? You can work hard, you can do your best. Sometimes it's rewarded, but guess what? Sometimes it's not. You know? And I know every now and then I was looking on YouTube, because it's always kind of fun to watch different things on YouTube. And so I was looking at YouTube one day, and I saw this word karma, karma. And so then I typed that word in, and wow, boom, all this karma stuff jumps up, you know, and I sit there, I look at that and I go, that's not true, that's not true. But like for example, you know how sometimes you gotta sit in the line when you're in your car, you know, and you're waiting, and then some guy comes scooting down the, you know, the emergency lane, the breakdown lane, and he goes all the way up to the front of the line and breaks in. And you sit there and go, that's not fair, I'm waiting in line, you should wait in line too. You know, and then every now and then, about once in every 150,000 times, there's a police officer that he passes on the way up, and the police officer pulls out and nails him. And you go, you know, it's about time. And they call that karma. Well, I don't know what it's karma, it just happens that way. But we have to recognize that the way the world looks at things is not the way it is. The world is filled with sin. It is a broken place. And how sad that is. And let's look at questions 162 to 164. We'll get as far as we can. Don't know that we'll just read and go for it. Let me see here. Taylor, if you would read for us, please. 162. Oh, no, that's all right. That's all right. I didn't realize she'd stepped out. That's okay. Blake, get us going if you would be so kind, sir.
What do we say when we confess that Jesus has redeemed us? We acknowledge that Jesus has rescued and claimed us from powers we cannot overcome.
Yes. Remember, Satan is one nasty guy. And he's been doing this since the creation of the world. He's very good at what he does. You aren't in his league, okay? You are not in his league, all right? You want to go one-on-one with LeBron James, you know? You're not in his league, right? And Satan is even better. He's even better. You ain't gonna win, okay? 163, please, Jenna. Help us get done here.
Why did we need to be redeemed, rescued? What was our situation? The entire human race lived under the tyranny of sin, death, and the devil.
You are so right. And next, Hayden, read letter B on page 178.
The entire human race stood under the judgment of God.
Yes, okay, God judged the human race, and we were in trouble, big time trouble. And then let's look at question 164, please. And that would be Jace. Bring us home, Jace.
How did we come to be lost and condemned? The devil led Adam and Eve into rebellion by tempting them to eat out and desire to become like God. We all have inherited the desire to sin and corruption.
That's right. And remember, all temptation, I know I've told you guys this before, but I'm going to tell you again, because that's what happens when you get old, you repeat yourself. Okay? I'm going to tell you this again. What were the 3 steps? What were the 3 steps that Satan used to tempt Adam and Eve? Because he uses them on you too. Did God really say? That's not what he said. Here's what he meant. Okay? Those are always the 3 steps that get you in trouble. Okay? Did your parents really say? They didn't say that. Here's what they really meant, and now you're in trouble. Okay? It's just that simple. Alright? Your parents do that too. Did the boss really say? That's not what the boss said. Here's what the boss meant. Now they're in trouble. Okay? It's the same way all the time. Alright? So just know that. When everybody comes up to you and says, did your parents really say that? Yes, they did. Cut it off. Stop it there. Don't let it go down the road a little further, because that's when you get in trouble. That's when all of us get in trouble. Jesus, our Savior, our Redeemer, our brother, true God, true man, loves us with an everlasting love. We'll talk a little bit more about him next week. Parents, be sure you talk to your young people about the things of God, because nobody else will except me, and the world will try to lead them astray. Give them a firm foundation. Make your home a refuge. Blessings. I'll see you in church. sumptuously. Next Saturday, it's Army Navy, right? All right. I'm gonna DVR everything. We'll start an hour before the game.
Hopefully they'll come out top, because if not, Carolina's seen a win. Washington.
I know. And you know what? Army is one tough team. I mean, they almost put Michigan on the ropes. Yes. Mr. Zexer, could you take this up to Pastor Zexer? Thank you, sir. You are a gentleman and a scholar. Thank you all.